Okay, and welcome back, everyone, to Strange Planet Podcast. And I must say, the war with Iran is still going on, of course, with hardly any information. We don't know why we're doing this. We also don't know when it's going to end. And they're not really informing us on anything. So I think a lot of Americans are kind of wondering what the hell is going on. And I'm pretty sure the first thing most of you have noticed was the dramatic increase at the pumps. So basically, that's how you're paying for this, by the way, too. So you could thank your local MAGA voter for that, because that's basically why that's happening. And I don't think it's going to come down anytime soon. So talk about more wasted money, taxpayer money on more wars, because that's what America does best lately, I guess. And in other recent news, wait, did you want to say something?
I was going to say, it's not just the wars, it's also his tariffs,
Yep, right,
whether they're instated or not.
right. Don't
Um, he
matter.
he
Right.
did announce new tariffs. I think he started at 10, going to 15%. And the ones that he did last time, which were thrown out by the Supreme Court, well, they're coming back to haunt us because now companies both here and abroad are suing the United States to get that money back. And, and damages. So we're gonna like Nintendo, I think, is suing
Yep, that's right.
for like $200 billion. So guess who gets to pay that in addition to paying the higher prices that the tariffs caused.
The American people. That's who.
But you know who
Meanwhile, of
feels that doesn't affect billionaires though, right?
course not. And the businesses will all get reimbursed, so the people get screwed once again in the end. And if that isn't going to be enough to piss you off, Pete Hegseth, local douchebag, he had himself a nice feast on the taxpayers. It was, God knows, it was an astronomical amount of money. And they had nice lobster and steak and all this. And then when the U.S. Olympic team wins the gold, they get McDonald's. You can't
All
make
right.
this up, folks.
But let's be clear about what happened, right?
Yeah, tell us. It's saying.
So their excuse is that, it was the end of the fiscal year. And so, the money that was there allocated to the DoD was not going to be spent and kind of has to be spent. So they decided to spend it on lobster.
Yep.
Bills.
And
Isn't that nice,
yeah,
folks? Not you,
and
for them.
yeah, I mean, they spent it on a whole bunch of ridiculous luxuries when, they could have spent it on, healthcare for troops
Yep,
and
or
housing
education,
or,
you know,
just
maybe.
if you can spend it on lobster, you could spend it on taking care of the troops. Okay.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And
That
leading
doesn't
in,
mean that doesn't mean like bringing lobster to the Pentagon, all right? It means taking care of the troops.
yeah, if this, like, you got to be fucking blind at this point if you can't see that basically the 1% is running the show at this point. Because all of this is just pointing in the one direction. And that's what leads me to my next whole point and probably the basis of this episode for tonight. And that is I think James Tallarico said it the best. Everybody's getting mad at the wrong 1%. Everybody's always saying, "Oh, the welfare people on that. They're mooching this, that, and the third." Now, granted, I'm sure there probably are some, and something probably should be done about that. But generally speaking, I think a lot of those people need that. And of course, Trump cut all the food stamps and stuff now for those, people. So that's pretty fucking disturbing. If that doesn't piss
Right.
you
We
off,
don't have money for a SNAP, aka food
yeah,
stamps, but we
like
have money for lobster
like
for
you,
Pentagon
Rich.
officials,
you don't
or not
see
even
this.
Pentagon officials, but political appointees.
Yeah, like it's just corruption right in front of your face. And I'm sorry if you're wearing that stupid red hat, you're not getting those. Were you at that dinner? I don't think you were. You know what I mean? So
You
it's
paid
like you're
for it
being
though.
played. Like, what was that?
You paid for it though.
Yeah, oh, they paid for it. You got that right, 100%. But that's the thing. That what I also meant by the wrong percent is because the 1%, the rich, the billionaire class, that's basically what's the moocher, if there were to be one. So that's where I'm leaning this conversation towards at this point. And what do you think will be done about this, or will anything be done? Considering the tax cuts they've been getting for the past 15, 20 years, and then your people are surprised that all these corporations are buying each other out and buying out their competition. It's going to drive down, the whole innovation period pretty much. If you've got
Well,
no
all
one to
right.
compete with, it's going to, cause a little bump in the road there. But how do you guys see this? Where do you see it going? Is America doomed? I think it probably is, but
At at the rate it's going, whatever Trump's doing, he's doing it on all fields, not just voting, not just January 6th pardoning, whatever, attacking the cards with fucking slap fucking suits and shit and all that kind of stuff, intimidating banks, colleges, law firms by suing them.
yep,
He's
to fit
doing
their
all
narrative.
sorts of shit.
Media.
And
Media,
media,
oh yeah,
that's the other thing. He's allowing corporations to buy out, becoming what's that word? What's that game that we play with Park Place and jail? They have the railroads,
monopoly.
boardwalk. It's called a monopoly, and it's
Yep,
that for a reason. Because if you control all the back scratchers in the world, you can charge whatever you want.
basically.
Like at one point, those little basically the pens that you would use to administer like adrenaline for those who need it, or just basic any kind of drugs. Those used to go for $600 because the
Jeez.
maker of it was just like, "Hey, I made this. I can charge whatever the fuck I want."
Right, pretty
So
much.
that brings me to a quick little like, when does supply and demand just crumble in the eyes of the rich? Because at what point is like, are you making way more money on a product that you should not be making money on, that much at least? And like, the money is so skewed in this country. And you're right, the 1% is controlling everything. They're
Yep.
buying all the media stations to promote what Trump wants at the moment. And they're getting everyone falling behind, suing them, Disney, Harvard, yeah, whatever the fuck he was doing. Well, because they don't like him. So I don't know. I think he's making a power move to consolidate all these money grabbing corporations. What's your take on it, Rook?
Well, I think that Trump is, I don't necessarily think he likes the billionaire class. I think he's beholden to them. He was not a billionaire before he was reelected. I'm sorry, but he just wasn't. He
No, he
liked to
wasn't.
play one on TV. He liked to act like one, but he wasn't.
He wasn't
It
factual.
wasn't until he, did his crypto scam
Yeah.
and after he got reelected the second time that
Yep.
he became a billionaire. And he can sue me if he wants. I don't care.
Man, fuck Donald
To
Trump.
me, you won't get a dime.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Nah,
Why?
like,
Because I ain't got a
come
dime.
at me, bruh. But in any
Yeah.
case, I don't think he necessarily likes the billionaire class because they excluded him. However, he likes to play, he's beholden to them because he knows that they kept him out of prison. If it weren't for his reelection, he probably would have gone to prison.
Yep.
Or at least be under house arrest for the rest of his life.
They got rid of Epstein before he could open his mouth.
I don't know what happened to Epstein,
he had an
but it's
accident.
fishy. It's fishy. There
It's
are
super
definitely
fishy.
more details coming out, like, the guards like talking about, I don't want to get the details wrong, but there was something about the guards like having conversations about him and one Googling him like an hour before his death, and just some
strange
weird
shit, right?
loose ends that need to be tied up. And
the missing minute of the video.
That's the biggest friggin' red flag right there.
I mean,
1 minute.
yeah, like
Hot in a minute.
how does a video, a stationary video, just stop working the minute coincidentally that someone dies?
Exactly. Like it's
Like
so
someone kills
like,
themselves.
not to mention every other minute was there except that minute too. As I saw the video too, like
Yeah, like
you could
I
see the
never saw
time,
it,
like
but that just like something's not right.
yeah, something's really fishy there. That's all I'm saying.
Um, you know, if it were a movie and like it wouldn't be a very entertaining movie, like
No,
because if you're like who done it? Well, whoever turned off the fucking video, obviously.
pretty much, yeah. And looks like we're never gonna know anytime soon who that was or
Mhm.
where that missing footage is. Because I hate to say it, well, I'd love to say it realistically. There are some answers in that missing footage out
Oh,
here,
it's probably destroyed.
but you're right. It could be destroyed,
It's
or
probably destroyed.
yeah, that's a very good
That
point.
can't get
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
this corrupt
unle-
administration's had
unless
plenty
they
of time to
deep
do
cleaned it
that.
off or whatever computer was on. Yeah, but most stuff can be recalled.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I don't like they probably had access to the computer systems with those videos, the recording systems, and
True, they are the government.
right.
uh
They thought nobody would
could
notice,
they
but we
could
did.
yeah, so they're probably already scrubbed.
Yeah,
Um
it's corruption at its finest,
Yep,
folks. Yeah, it's a sad, sad day.
truly corruption at its finest. I mean, you have the rich people who pretty much elect all the elected officials. Even though technically you vote for them, they get elected by those who they contribute to their campaign.
The thing
And
that I'll
so,
still never understand, though, to this day, granted, what we do know with the whole Epstein files, which is the Trump Epstein files, which is not going anywhere. Now, this war in Iran, what happened in Venezuela, what's probably going to happen to Cuba. You know, I mean, the list just
look
goes
at the
on.
aliens.
And I just don't understand, like, why some schmuck from this country would still be wearing a MAGA hat over this. Like, the proof couldn't be more in front of you that
It's
they
the
don't
thing, though.
care. America
They
doesn't care about its
control the
people under this
information.
administration. Like,
They
they do not
control the
care.
information.
Well,
Some of these
right.
red states, they don't get the same channels we do.
That's
I've
also
been down
true.
south.
Yeah,
I've
that's
seen
very
some
true.
programs of like this shit's never on in New York. What the fuck?
But see, the
So
problem
there
with this
is
is what you just said.
well, it's not even TV, it's social media.
Social media is a big
well
factor
that
in all
too, but
this.
like
Yeah,
just
big
in
factor.
general, even the regular TV shows in different states are way different than what we watch here on the East Coast.
Are they?
Yeah,
Yeah, but I'll tell you this too, which is also interesting and also pretty fucking scary, to be honest. Fox News is just a fucking joke to me in general.
it's
But
not
now
even
what
good.
I'm noticing is with all these buyouts and all these, companies buying each other out, it almost seems to me, and I saw this collage video somebody made earlier, and I was like, holy shit, like check that out. Like, I mean, I knew this anyway, but the same narrative that Fox News likes to, poison the Americans with, they said literally, I'm not even kidding, when it comes to this Iran war, it literally says it's a short-term loss for a long-term gain. CBS, suddenly short-term loss, long-term gain. What do we gain out of this? Can somebody tell me? Because I don't know.
Okay,
We
but
gain
you're
the enemy
presenting
of the
two different
Iranian people.
ideas there. First, it's like, you're saying, what do we get out of this? What is the gain? But your main point, I think, was, that CBS is repeating the same thing that Fox News
Right.
is
And
repeating.
some of these other
So
outlets.
basically, CBS, that shows that has become, sort of a right-wing talking
Yeah.
point
It's not like
mill.
it used to be. Yeah. And there was other ones on there too. I don't think ABC was on the list, but CBS was definitely on the list. Fox News was on the list. Of course, Fox Business. Most of the Fox bullshit, but that's not surprising. But then
CNN.
like CBS was
Yeah,
the
I mean,
shocker,
MAGA appeals to uh people who are rich that just, want their taxes cut.
basically
Well,
Um,
that's
handouts.
not
and
all. They want their
also and
taxes cut. They
also
want all
people
brown people out of the country.
who
Yeah,
are
probably.
racist, who are
Well,
misogynists,
sluts
Yep.
and whores, but
who
they're sluts and whores.
no, I mean, it appeals to people for many different reasons.
Not their pockets
They
though.
what do you mean not their pockets?
They're paying for
For
this war at the pump. You know what I
okay,
mean? Like whether
well,
you're on board
billionaires
with them
don't
or
care
not.
about the pump.
Well, they
They
don't give a
don't.
shit. Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, they don't care.
That's the thing. Like high prices don't affect the ultra rich.
Yeah, they don't
They'll
care
pay,
about that
they
shit.
don't care. They'll pay the higher
Well,
prices. It's nothing.
yeah, right. They'll pay it, and no harm done for them. They can afford it.
When I need to get a caliper for my car, that's $40, and I'm struggling to get that $40 to get the caliper. And I work in a business where a 4 set of tires is close to $1,500, and they don't blink.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Imagine.
Yeah.
And those are
So
probably
yeah,
just all
just like
season tires.
so I bought
Yeah.
a memory stick, a RAM stick for not a RAM
Yeah.
stick. I bought a solid state hard drive, an M2 drive, if people know what that is. I bought that on Amazon, a 4 terabyte one for a little under $300. I think it was 280 something dollars on Amazon in 2024. Do you
Okay.
know what
So,
it costs today?
well, you said how much was it back then?
It was
300?
200, it was like $289
I'm going to take a
on
wild guess
Amazon.
that doubled. I'm going to say about $600-700.
I say 50
It
bucks.
it is $50. It is over $700.
Okay, I went the wrong way.
Whoa! So it's
Um,
more than double.
So it's like $800 normally, and then they discount it to like, 735 or something. So you think you're getting a sale.
Yeah, you're not. But
2 years
wow.
ago, I paid less than 300. Now it's, going on 800. Like that is
That's the biggest fuck you ever, is what that
has
is.
has my salary gone up by that much?
Hell
No.
no.
So why the fuck are you charging me that much?
Hell no.
Yeah, that's the other thing I don't get. Everything goes up in the world, and yet when it comes time to try to get a raise, it's like, oh maybe next quarter.
Yeah,
We
right.
need to have a sit down. We have to
Well,
look at the
I mean, I
books.
got a raise,
You haven't
but
proven that you deserve.
Right? Yeah, if you have a job
but
at this point that gives you raises, consider
no,
yourself lucky.
no, like, it really is a matter of, inflation and wages and salaries not keeping up with the rate of inflation.
Right. It's been that way a
And
long
not
time.
and
Being rich.
just just the corporations trying to squeeze every last drop
Yep.
out of people. And
Got to be in the black. Can't be in the red.
I don't fault them. It's the nature of capitalism. I'm not saying that capitalism's bad, but this is what
Uncontrolled
happens when
capitalism is bad.
capitalism isn't regulated, when it isn't
Correct.
modulated by some sense of fairness and decency.
Right?
And when you just let it carry out its will,
This is what
it,
happens.
companies are going to sort of coagulate and combine together and raise prices, have monopolistic power over markets. That's what happens eventually. It's just gonna keep consolidating. And they're going to do what is attractive in terms of driving up stock prices. A lot of executives, like high level executives, are compensated with stock, and so they want to see the stock price rise, and that's how they also are judged in terms of performance, because that's what shareholders want to see. Otherwise, they get rid of the executive leadership.
Right. I mean, that would make
Um,
sense.
and so it's that whole system. Just if you're a CEO of a company, you have to make these shitty decisions about your employees and about how you treat your customers. You have to do it because not only are you in somewhat of competition with other companies, but also you're just driven by that machine that must produce more profits than the year before, or the quarter before.
Right.
You just have to like show growth continuously.
Can
And
never be the same. It's got to be more.
well,
Yep.
obviously, no. Well, I mean, if you invest $100 in a company, you want to see that $100 grow, don't you? You don't
Well, I
want it
mean,
to be
that's
the
the
same.
point.
Your $100 is not going to turn into anything else unless the company grows, unless the value of your stock goes up. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the nature of capitalism that is, at fault. The nature of it is that if I invest $100, I want to see it go up. Well, now the company has to do whatever it takes
To do
to
that.
get that to go up.
And you see, that, my friend, is what I think part of the problem is. Because, like, technically, I mean, like you said, that makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? You have a company, somebody invests $100, $200 in a company. Of course, you wouldn't invest in it unless you wanted to see your money grow. But that's where I think the underlying problem is, because there's other countries all across the world that have capitalism too, but the difference is they're probably taxed more. You know what I mean? So, like, what I think the problem is here is the fact that these companies can kind of have the
Taxed and
freedom.
regulated more.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Because we have Reagan to kind of blame for a lot of deregulations, and we have Bush to also to blame for a lot of deregulations with banks and stuff. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like the model is not necessarily meant for people. It's more meant, like I always say, it's meant, businesses over people, and that this is a perfect example of that right here. You know what I mean? Perfect example of that.
Well, it's because I don't know, our country's religion is capitalism.
As money and greed. You're right. That's big facts
Well,
there too.
it's not just money and greed, it's capitalism. You can't say anything bad about capitalism because it's
God
sacred.
forbid. Yeah.
Um, Now, I'm a capitalist. I believe in capitalism, but I also believe in regulated capitalism.
That's where
I
I stand.
believe in, constrained capitalism where, you have rules that are enforced. You know, Libertarians are more like, you know, anything goes capitalism, which sounds great. You have your liberty, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, yeah. All right. But at the end of the day, if everyone is acting in their self-interest and they're just, pursuing their own self-interest, then that kind of
Defeats the whole
it
thing.
it 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 it, it prevents us as a society from functioning correctly
Entirely. You're
or
right.
functioning in a way that like benefits most people. Because once you have, an advantage in terms of power, in terms of, vast amounts of capital, then, you use that advantage to get you more and to protect that capital.
Mm,
And people who don't have that, they have no chance.
yeah,
Um, you
exactly.
know,
At all.
Unless you win the lottery or, get lucky somehow.
Basically. It's,
Yeah,
in a
you can
casino.
work hard or whatever. There's a lot of people that work hard
They're
and,
barely getting by right now.
Yeah, working
they're
hard
not
does nothing.
You got
right.
that right.
Exactly. It's not about, they make it this religion and they make you think that, oh, because you work hard or, because, you sacrifice, whatever. A lot of people work hard and sacrifice.
You got that right.
Sometimes it's just being in the right place at the right time or knowing the right people.
Yep.
And that part of capitalism is not, healthy for, the whole of society. It's healthy for, or it benefits a small number of people, but it doesn't work for the whole amount of society. Now, we can have that kind of capitalism, but if we choose to maintain that type of system, then those people who benefit from it most should pay more
Right.
so that the other
Fundamentally more.
people who suffer under that system don't suffer as much.
Right.
They can, live a decent life.
That's
That's
called
all anyone
sensibility.
wants. or they can ask for is just a decent living. But our kind of capitalism prevents that. It creates homelessness. It creates,
entirely. You're right.
poverty. It creates hunger. It creates
Everything bad you can possibly
hopelessness,
think of. Yeah.
which breeds these type of extreme political views and resentment, among different groups,
Right.
because
Right.
you want someone to blame, and you want to feel more powerful than someone, and so you sort of join other people in beating down on certain groups, and it's just like it's cowardly, actually,
Entirely. You're
because you're
right.
not turning
Yeah.
your attention to those who are actually more powerful than you. You're using whatever little power you have to beat up on people who have less power than you, and to me, that's cowardly.
Entirely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You know what the real irony of the whole thing is? Our, nation's increasingly disturbing debt. I guarantee you, if you were to take all the billionaires in this country and say that, this country got its head out of its ass and they actually tax these people what they should, and say it were to actually happen, this is all, theoretical. I guarantee you in a 10-year span, say it was just 5 or 10% too. They can still have their yachts. They can still have their, Lamborghinis. 5, 10% is probably not that much when we're talking billions of dollars here, or even trillions.
Sure,
You
I
know what I
mean
mean?
it's a lot of money, but it's not
But
that much to them.
to
But to them,
them,
it feels like a
exactly.
lot because they didn't get rich by you know just throwing away money.
But what I'm saying
And
is
if
if
they choose to throw away money, they throw it away on things they want.
exactly, luxuries and shit. But what I was
Right.
saying is if we actually did do this and this country actually, did something positive for a change, I actually think that that could be a major benefactor to get rid of the debt from the country because you can't take it from the lower class. They don't have it. You know what I
Listen,
mean? They ain't got it.
the
In the middle class, there's
I don't
nothing
want to
left.
hear a goddamn thing from Republicans about the debt. They
Mm,
cry
mm.
about the debt, for
And then they
years,
start a
every
war.
time there's a Democratic president. And then once there's a Republican president, you never hear them say a goddamn word about it.
You're right. You're 100% right. And then they're starting wars almost
They're
every
starting
Republican
wars that
term.
cost $1 billion a day
Yeah,
that
like,
have no like purpose or objective.
and yet we don't
At
have money to
least
feed
they
the poor. I
can't
mean, you
settle
know
on
what I mean?
one.
We don't have money to feed the
We
poor.
got to cut all these programs. What happened to Doge with their fucking, waste, fraud, and abuse, waste, fraud, and abuse,
They
waste, fraud,
fired his
and
ass.
abuse? And
There was all
then,
this. Stop with
no, well,
this.
then, like, if you cared about waste, fraud, and abuse, then why aren't you looking at the Department of Defense ordering millions of dollars of fucking lobster?
Yeah,
Isn't
exactly.
that waste
Entirely. That could have gone to
or
numerous
abuse?
different things it could have went to. But
He
instead,
got what he got because he was allowed to plow the way for Trump to do the things he wanted to do.
I'm
Once
going
he
to be
got all
honest.
those fucking places out of the thing, he cut them
No,
loose.
but I'm saying like
Doge
they
is done.
cried for the first months of Trump's presidency
Yeah.
about the waste, fraud, and abuse.
Yeah,
And
they
then
did that. It was all a plot. It's all a fucking scam. Everything he does is a fucking scam.
Scam or scheme. That's very true.
And the
too.
worst part about it is Republicans. I don't want to hear shit from Republicans at all for the next 5 to 10 years.
If not
I
longer.
don't care
but...
how much money you think we're going into debt. It's like you motherfuckers put up a felon as your as your presidential candidate.
And a rapist.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
yeah, an adjudicated rapist.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a potential pedophile.
Yeah, and a very, very strong potential who's covering it up.
Yeah, basically. That's what all this war talk was about. They thought people would forget about the Epstein files, but
Oh no.
yeah, they're not going anywhere. That's not going anywhere.
No,
Now
they
have to
cried
tackle
about the
both
Epstein
things.
files for years. So
Yeah, well, no, where are they?
Yeah, I know.
Where's
That's
the stuff?
That's what I'm saying, man.
there's still plenty of terabytes of files
unseen,
out there.
Right, exactly. Unseen files. Not to mention, even the files released were all redacted. So it's like,
We should do a sub channel of just looking at those files.
Yeah. Like it's crazy. And then the funniest thing was going back to the beginning of all this, he was saying about draining the swamp. This motherfucker's packing the swamp, not draining it.
Yeah.
We're getting some of the biggest scumbags you've ever seen, most unqualified motherfuckers you could think of that are running
They
offices,
cried
they don't
about
know what to
they
do.
cried about DEI, and then they put people who aren't qualified at all for the positions that they're
Like you and
appointed
me
to.
could possibly get I mean, I would never work for that piece of shit, but I'm saying we have as much well, you probably have more credentials than all of us, but but like for me, I don't have any political background. So like, you know what I mean? Like
Rook is overqualified. He can't have this position.
right.
No, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly. We probably need you in there.
But you know, they put up what is that? What's that guy's name? McWayne or
Oh, I know. I think I know who you're talking about. I forget his first name though.
for Department of Homeland Security to
The guy hiding behind the chair during the
McMillan?
Mark Wayne Mullen.
Yeah, Mullen.
Yeah, so like, you know, I forget what his credentials are, but they're not impressive.
No, and like he doesn't belong in that seat. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
he
neither did
doesn't.
Gnome. You know what I mean? So
Look at this Cash Patel, who's a YouTuber.
yeah, for real. That's another. Yeah, Christ, that's another. You know what's funny? I mean, no pun, actually, all pun intended. I can never tell if he's looking straight half the time too. You ever see that guy? Yeah, he's like looking in like one eye's this way, the other one's over there. That shows you the healthcare. I guess his vision wasn't included, but but you know what I mean? But but it's unbelievable. I've never seen such incompetence. And the only thing that sucks probably the most about it all is the American people are the ones suffering. That's really people really taking the biggest hit.
All these people in their positions getting a nice, lovely fat check, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Nobody's under 100,000.
What worries me, though, is what I brought up a little earlier in this episode. And that's the whole rhetoric of, you know, these Republicans buying all the networks and consolidating everything, because now they're going to try to make this be their mainstream talk. And if that's the case, you can kiss this country goodbye. It's dead. It's over. Yeah, there's not going to be a country in 10 years. You know what I mean? It'll be Verizon presents America. Like it won't even be America anymore.
They have the playbook to tear a country apart from within itself, and they're doing it play by play.
Yeah, basically. It'll be like Smith and Wesson presents the Pentagon.
My biggest question, on the highest court in the land, you're going to be corrupt? You know what I mean? It's like, really?
Yep. Well, you put a felon in there. That's
in the highest office in the land, you're corrupt, so why not?
Well, that's different. That's different. Because that, it's just one person, and power corrupts absolutely. But then you have these people who worked in the government, who were brought up to be these grand judges of the Supreme Court. But at the same time, it's just like, okay, now they're on the Supreme Court. And did they always have these fucking plans to make, a Republican a god?
Well, to be honest, keep in mind, a lot of these assholes all went to the same colleges, all went to the same universities, all go to the same country clubs.
Now I want to sue fucking colleges.
Yeah, see, like this is the narrative that Harvard and stuff pushes. So like all these douchebags are not that far from one another ever, and they're all plotting together. Because right now the system works for them entirely, not us, not the people.
I don't think it's that simple, because Harvard has produced people like Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, who ran against each
occasionally
other.
You'll get good ones, you know what I mean?
Dan Quayle,
as a whole, like just like us in a sense, you know what I mean? We didn't vote for this piece of shit that's in there, you know what I mean? But like we're normal, we can think for ourselves, you know what I mean? We can see corruption. Some people that voted for this clown just, their limited vision, tunnel vision, you know what I mean?
They see
what they want, selective.
The problem is most of these, people in red states who are MAGAs, they're the type of people who take things at face value.
Exactly.
They don't dig deeper. They just lazy about
any
it.
research.
You said what? You said your mama ate your papa. Wow, that's crazy. It's
for real though.
It's a simple mind doing a simple task that does not want to complicate it.
Yeah, and the funniest thing was,
then everyone's like, fuck.
Yeah, but the funniest thing was a lot of the things that they think is what's causing problems in this country is not what is
because that's how Trump operates.
Yeah, but that's how the narrative of the media goes too.
He probably deleted a ton of emails when fucking Hillary was up.
Yeah, whatever. I know
emails. Yeah. Meanwhile, in the back of his mind, I've deleted over 1,000 emails that involve Putin and having him work for me.
the crazy thing about even what you just said about Hillary's emails is they still make a big deal about that. Meanwhile, we have the Epstein files, which is something that should be taken 10 times more seriously than that. You know what I mean?
I love to hear them start complaining about JFK, not
Yeah.
Junior, not Junior, regular JFK. Oh,
Yeah.
JFK had to go get his head blown off.
Yeah, man. Like, and the funny thing is, I'll say this too, real quick, but I almost feel like for all the other countries in the world, like in Europe, Canada, Australia, I feel like when they look at the concept of capitalism, all they
Yeah.
have to do, if they want to know what not to do, is just look what America does and don't do that. And then their country will prosper. I guarantee it. like, like
funny
use us
part-
as an
That
example.
is if we don't decide to bomb the shit out of it. And
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's it's more
funny
taxpayer
thing-
money.
People have been doing the opposite for the last few decades. Oh, America's doing what? They have
Yeah,
baseball?
see, they're
Let's
learning.
have baseball too.
Yeah, see, they're learning. That's actually a good thing. Because you've realized a lot of those, other countries, the civilized, like established ones, we're not talking about like third world countries here, which is where we're headed. But yeah, they all have, universal health care. And we pay for Israel's, but we don't even have
let's-
ours.
Let's make a stop at second world country before we start getting third world.
Yeah,
Granted, there are some parts in this country that are third world country fucking parts, but
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But as a whole, I feel like we're kind of heading in that direction because nothing's affordable. You know what I mean? Our tax dollars are wasted on a daily basis. Government does whatever they want.
Yep. You sound like a Republican or a MAGA. Waste.
Oh, don't ever call me that. Don't ever call me that. Christ. But like, yeah, it's the way I see it. Well, I see what you just said is actually very interesting though, because realistically, that's exactly what Donald Trump and this whole movement really is. Basically, every accusation is a confession. So anytime, and this goes across the board at this point.
Across the board.
Yeah, healthcare, education, war, you know what I mean? Like you name it. If he's going to bring it up and he's got something to say about it, he either is going to do it or he already did it.
Yep.
One of the two. Yeah, and that's how we're at. And it's sad because, like, that blonde bimbo goes up there and it's like, oh, we have the most transparent president ever. Yeah, no fucking kidding.
No.
Yeah, no,
You don't have the most transparent president ever. You have the one who has the most unhinged mouth
yeah,
and has no morals or values whatsoever.
See, the problem is, too, and this is the scariest part of the whole thing. If this whole conglomerate, what these Republicans buying out, all the news media companies to sell their narrative, if this happened earlier and Trump was now president, you do realize you'd be seeing a lot more pushing for this.
Yeah.
The reason why you're not yet is because it's still fresh. So the future of media in this country, if somebody doesn't do something about it, there's going to be like 8 Fox Newses now.
The problem,
you know what I mean? It's going to be up to you to know better.
The problem is most of the people who are involved in those situations are either leaving for moral values or being put there because, they're a yes man.
Yeah.
It's going to be like Rachel Maddow. She left. Fucking, there's a handful of other people from MSN that left.
Wait, she left?
Oh, didn't she leave?
No, they changed the name of the it's called like MS Now or something, but she's still on it. Yeah, they just
It
changed
made
the
it seem
name.
like she left when I read that article.
Yeah, she ain't
What
leave.
the fuck?
Tell you the truth, she's one of the bright ones that like you'll get actual information from. Like, I give that woman a lot of credit actually because she's.
I like her views, and I like the woman in Congress who like always brings those boards talking about like, funding, and you spend this much on that. And
Yeah.
this much on this. Isn't she? Didn't she go up for election for something?
I don't think she did. Nah. But I'll tell you one thing she did do. Rachel Maddow, he's talking about.
No.
Oh,
there's a lady in Congress or the Senate, one of the two, where she comes in with like charts and pie graphs about like spending.
I think I know who you're talking about. Actually.
Yeah, I don't know her name.
She was putting up a lot of Epstein stuff too, wasn't she?
Well, towards the end, yeah.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking. I don't know who. I forget who.
But she always be coming in with like, oh, how much you spending on this? Well, look, you're spending
like
this.
hard proof too.
Hard
literally,
proof.
like she'll have like people holding up boards of literally what the spending is or what it is she's, the point she's trying to deliver at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So basically, if what we've said so far doesn't already ring a bell, the midterm elections, as you can tell, are going to be very, very important this time around because it will pretty much be the future of hopefully fixing democracy at this rate and maybe getting this country back on track. So that shows the importance of what's coming up. Now, every, electional term, this is the most important one ever, they'll always say. And, granted, in recent years, they're not lying, but this one specifically, and go figure, it's not even a presidential election, it's a midterm election. It is an important one, and everybody needs to get out. So like that could reshape what's to come. And there's been, things along the way that have been leading towards hope. But like I said before, I'll believe it when I see it. And okay, everyone, that's all we got for this week on Strange Planet Podcast. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Peace.